After the eclipse covered and blocked out the sun on Monday, we've been looking at things in our life that might eclipse God or block Him from our mind, our heart, and even from our daily living. Good morning. This is Pastor Ernie Lewis of the Blue Point Church in Sisney, Illinois, with your thoughts for Thursday. There are so many things that Satan throws at us on a daily basis to cause us to turn away from our commitment to love and to serve God with all our lives. Jesus said that distraction might even come from family, our wife, our children, our father or mother, that might cause us to turn away. We need to examine our life daily to make sure there are no distractions to eclipse God in our lives. So the author of the book of Hebrews reminds us that there may be some hindrances for the Christian. He says in Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 1, "Therefore we also, since we are surrounded by a great cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which so easily ensnares us, and let us run with endurance the race that is set before us." This verse, of course, follows Hebrews chapter 11, which is that hall of fame of faith. The picture is that all those faithful servants like Abel and Enoch and Noah and Abraham have gone on before us, and now we're surrounded by that great cloud of witnesses there watching, encouraging us as we go on. So what kind of things are noted here as a distraction to the Christian that might eclipse God for us? Well, he calls us to lay aside every weight. Remember that the picture of the Christian life being proposed here is that we are running a race. We know the Apostle Paul oftentimes used sports analogies to represent how we live our life for God. Now, picture that runner who is entering a race and wants to be able to go as fast as possible and perhaps even run as long as needed to complete the race. Would he be wearing weights? Now, he might place weights on his feet or ankles to condition himself, but not in the actual race. I mean, they take off every piece of clothing that might encumber them, and they wear lightweight shorts, a t-shirt, some lightweight running shoes. In preparation for running the race, they may even have dropped a few extra pounds that was holding them back. So, if we're running that race for God, what kind of weights do we need to cast off? Maybe there are those carnal influences such as the lust of the flesh or the lust of the eyes that may draw us away from a focus on living for God. Sometimes those weights are not so readily recognizable as a clear or strong temptation. Some people may be distracted by all those TV shows that they consume, take up their time, maybe even alter their thinking by the way that they put those shows together and change our convictions that God wants us to have in the Christian life. Some people are distracted with video games or perhaps even social media that can be so time consuming. Sometimes worldly weights will also consume our finances. If we have an expensive habit that prohibits us from giving to the church or supporting missionaries in the way that we should, it's a problem. It's a weight. And besides those weights, he also says there are explicit sins that so easily ensnare us. Is there a sin in our life that we have allowed to reign or maybe we've winked at that is really not pleasing to a holy God? I mean, we should allow God to be the judge and reveal those things in our life that might hinder our race. If I'm going to run this race for God, I must be aware of weights and sins and avoid them seriously. So many things in our daily lives may fall under these categories, yet we continue in them. And by these thoughts and actions, we successfully eclipse the influence of God that He wants to have to make us and our walk for Him something that is pleasing to the Lord.